Last time on Surviving Abba.
You know what? I ain't gonna say too much, but Abba, I understand. Abba, my brother, I understand. Okay, I understand. And she got a little mix of crazy in there too, so I know she was putting your ass through the mattress. She was putting your ass through the mattress, bro. I understand, brother. My boy went in there, no safety, no helmet, no bulletproof vest, nothing. He was in there going crazy.
You always ignore when I tell you I don't want to talk to you, and then you just keep reaching out.
Because I'm pregnant and we need to figure this out. I'm pregnant, we need to figure it out.
Pregnant, whatever. I don't care. That's your problem. That's your responsibility now.
My perception of Abba is that he's a fairly liberal guy. He's more so like the equal with women kind of guy. He conveys the feeling that, like, really the opposite of my value set with women. I'm more so like hierarchical, and he seems like more so egalitarian. And so I would expect that based on his brand that, you know, he wouldn't be a guy that would put down a woman or insult her or be vicious.
I don't consider myself to be a particularly ethical person, but I am fair.
Welcome, my friends. My name is Antoine Phoenix, and this is my RP experience. Peace and love to all my brothers and sisters out there. Thank you for being here for another one of my videos. This is probably one of the only times I've made more than 2 consecutive videos on an issue that's going on inside the space where I talk about relationship. Yes, we are returning again to the Abba and Preach situation. More the Abba situation. There's one person that has covered this from the front and back. O'Shea Duke Jackson. At the admit, the brother is thorough. If you like a lot of the reactions videos that I make that use his content, please go over there and give him a subscribe. Now, while his video was definitely on Abba faking who he is, how his ex-girlfriend went to one of his enemies. Well, I'm not sure if Saint the Sinner is one of Abba and Preach's enemies, but because they usually do take targets at the red pill, the man space, they usually say red pill, but again, you are taking aim at the low-hanging fruit. The ones that's easy to take aim at because they say crazy things. Because they have built a platform on saying crazy things. And they have to maintain that of saying crazy things. Now, I bring this up. Using his video, I'm going to point out a thing that I've experienced myself. When a woman moves on in a relationship, she is either if it's your fault or their fault. But let's say it is your fault. She's going to take some level of revenge by first doing a smear campaign on you on social media, painting herself as the innocent victim while you are the total villain.
So what if I start a rumor that you're a pedo?
You're literally going to stoop that low to start a rumor that I'm a pedo? That's not even something you joke about.
Yeah. Well, you broke my heart, so now I'm going to ruin your career.
Okay, first of all, I don't know, like, I'm not scared, because I know that's not gonna work. Like, how would you...
How would it not work? How would it not work?
Well, first of all, I'm recording this. So I'm just gonna post it so everyone knows that you're lying.
Scared. It's just gonna flop like all your other posts. It's gonna get 2 views,
No.
and then you're gonna get embarrassed, and you're gonna delete it, so no one will see it. I'm not scared. So what if I start a rumor?
In the ABBA situation, it does look bad because he has multiple women saying the same things. 3 pregnancies aborted from these various women. Now, I do have to admit, is only 2 women really talking?
Hey girl, can you hear me? Hello. Yeah, I do. I'm sorry, I was talking to Abba and it really fucked me up actually. She was really sad when I told her that we were talking in March. She was like, apparently you had told her that she was a whore for having Instagram in March. But we were having
You don't know that whole story. You don't know what that's about. So just don't bring that up. You don't know.
January, March, you were still all the time talking to her. That's weird. If I don't want to talk to someone, I can talk to them anywhere.
You don't even understand the whole time.
But I just came on YouTube and the first video was like, what happened? And I recognized your face from his like phone gallery and him telling me that he had a really toxic ex. And I listened to the story and it's like, oh, you got an abortion and you were blocked? So I was like, oh, I also got an abortion and I was blocked.
But the other ones that chirped in have similar stories. And while ABBA did make a video debunking some of the things that were said, I cannot erase the fact of the things that he said in the recordings and what she was saying. I said before, I had moments, especially in my marriage, even when we was boyfriend and girlfriend, that I've said some wild stuff to her. Never violent stuff, but say things that probably would hurt her feelings. Of course, she always started the ball rolling by saying things to me. And what generally would happen, to give the whole thing there, it could have been something on social media. Maybe I liked a woman's photo, which I tell dudes, if you don't want no drama from your woman, do not be liking other women's photo. Thing was, I wasn't liking booty pics or a pic that would definitely say, oh, I'm lusting after. Usually it was if a woman was into a similar thing that I was doing, like art, drawing. I would like that particular post, and that would throw her into a frenzy right there. Now I'm giving the groundwork of things that probably maybe I shouldn't have done, but I did it. So instead of me probably telling her like, hey, I comment on this woman's artwork. I loved her comic book style because I used to draw and do comic books, but I comment on her. Instead of me telling her, she found it herself rifling through what I was doing online. Which I'm pretty sure she never came across anything of like, hey, I'm trying to see you hook up or something like that. I'm pretty sure she never came across that particular thing. But she came across that type of stuff there. Then she would explode.
This is a day in the life of a crazy Latina girlfriend. I wake up at 6 a.m. and start fighting with my boyfriend for cheating on me in my dreams. After that, I do my daily Instagram follower check. It looks like he followed somebody new. At 12 p.m., Michael leaves to hang out with his friends. I just love him so much, I wouldn't want anything bad to happen to him. At 1 p.m., I really start missing my boyfriend. Just then, Michael comes home early from hanging out with his friends. Oh, he must miss me too. At 6 p.m., I find out I'm pregnant. This is the perfect way to celebrate our 1-week anniversary. At 8 p.m., I schedule a fight during the NFL game tomorrow. After that, it's time to get ready for bed. And that's my day.
It turned into a big argument. Sometimes I would just, well, most of the time, I would just absorb it, take it, just be silent. Now, I guess maybe because I wasn't reacting to her and fighting with her about it, what she would eventually do is she would start getting more nasty and more spiteful in the things that she would say. And eventually she would touch on something that would get under my skin. Okay, that's why in future arguments, sometimes once I would see this start to happen, I would just leave before she gets to the point of totally pissing me off. But anyway, she would do that. Then I would eventually start biting back, start saying stuff to her. Then obviously I would say something she really wouldn't like, maybe call her out of her name, and that would probably definitely be from her saying something to me, hitting below the belt, and then she would start trying to hit me. I would probably scream, slam the door, and then leave. Okay, that's the whole thing right there. Now, I probably didn't handle it well either. It's no real innocent victims in there, because I can kind of see what probably maybe led her to that. But for her to escalate, then for me to probably still stay in the situation, my fault, and then for it to get out of control. So I believe a lot of relationships tend to go like that. And it wasn't like that all the time, but over the years it started becoming a constant thing. And once it became constant, I pretty much think she wanted to get out of the relationship.
When a woman wants to get rid of you, she becomes the biggest bitch in the history of the world. That's the oldest trick in the book. If any of you guys have a girlfriend right now and she's just being an intolerable bitch, the reason why she's doing that is she wants you to break up with her. All right? That's what she's doing it for. That's her whole purpose. And the reason why she's doing that, she wants to find a better option. Or she might already have a better option.
Now I'm bringing that up right there, just because when we finally did totally break up, she eventually, I have no proof for this, but however, though I have my suspicion, she would start, she definitely was hanging around with, and probably mess with someone I did not like. I never liked from day one of her guy friends that she had. I never liked it since day one. So she ended up messing with that particular person.
I'm single as of yesterday.
So you had a man before yesterday?
For 2 years. I'm not gonna lie, I got a dick appointment coming.
Well, who?
My best friend.
You were friends with this guy while you were dating your boyfriend?
I've been friends with him before I knew my ex, I guess now.
I'm so disappointed in you though.
Why?
You're going to go your best friend a day after breaking up with your boyfriend. That means you wanted to your best friend while you were dating your boyfriend.
It's kind of more complicated, like...
Wait a minute.
After we was done, so there's no wrong there on her part, but the thing was, why that dude? You could have messed with anybody else, but you had to mess with, well, it was a couple, but that was one of the ones at the top of the list. So I'm saying this to say is that a lot of times when a woman leaves a relationship where she's breaking up with you, where you broke up with her, if she can do it, this is how we get those stories that a woman, she took in, slept with a dude's brother, his cousins, in some cases, his father, okay? And that's on the friendly side. That's bad too. But then to run to the enemies. And this is what Libby did in the situation when the Abbott thing fell off. Now, I understand her feeling a certain kind of way. I understand with some of them, I could see, such as with Night Talk. I didn't really see anything there. But in this conversation that I'm about to share right now, that was covered by O'Shea Duke Jackson.
But there's another person who I've also had a back and forth with before in 2022. A guy by the Saint in the Center. Okay. Now, I don't know what his real issue is with Abba and Preach. I think they've had some words in the past. I know that recently he's had a beef with Fresh and Fit, which also did not end up well. I think what he said that they got some videos of his removed, and he is the person that basically interviewed Libby. Okay. I want you to just hear one of the things that she said.
My perception of Abba is that he's a fairly liberal guy. He's more so like the equal with women kind of guy. He conveys the feeling that, like, really the opposite of my value set with women. I'm more so like hierarchical, and he seems like more so egalitarian. And so I would expect that based on his brand that, you know, he wouldn't be a guy that would put down a woman or insult her or be vicious.
Okay, so let me just say this. It's not a lot that's really being said there, but here's what she's saying. He asks about the egalitarian thing, that he thought that Abba was more or less egalitarian, right? Watch what she says here, though.
I'm actually attracted to more guys like you, the way you carry yourself and your beliefs, traditional, like more on the conservative end, if that's what, you know, on that end. And
sure.
What I liked about Abba was he was still on the egalitarian side, but he did have a lot of traditional and conservative views in relationships. So I thought that was pretty cool. Like, he did court me, he did pay for things, he did care about like wanting to be like the man of the house. And so I thought that was a really interesting balance, even if I would normally go for the opposite end, which would be more like you.
She says, I would rather deal with somebody like you. Somebody more or less like you. Now let me just say this, even though she's not choosing up right then and there, it's safe to say that if she did not think that he was attractive, if she did not think that she could date him, if she did not think that those things were possible, she would not say somebody like you, okay? Now, why is that bad? I'm gonna tell you why it's bad on the surface level. Number one, it's always bad if the woman that you deal with come on YouTube to expose you. Thank God I've never had a situation that happened like that in my 11-year career. I've never had anything like that happen. But I've never had a long-standing beef with somebody, for the most part, that just like hated me enough to even kind of fish for that. But the problem is this: when that situation happened, in the case of the saint and the sinner, you almost believe that Abba fell in love with somebody that somebody else could get for doing nothing. Like that's what we're seeing here, which is a part of the red pill. So Abba, you had to do all of this work. Basically, he gets her to come onto the show. She's laughing at everything that he has to say, all the jokes, and it seems like she's choosing up on Marquette right then and there, which he plays it cool. He's professional about it. You know, he's not trying to push it up. He's trying to keep it about the subject. But it is clear to me that the interest is there. And this reminds me a lot of what happened once Abba went to go interview Daisy Chan. Once Abba interviewed Daisy Chan, he exposed Daisy Chan because Daisy Chan wanted to let Abba clap cheeks. And I'm not trying to say this is exactly what's happening here with Libby. She could have just meant that for whatever it is, but it is my understanding that she felt comfortable doing that because she felt there was a level of attraction. I thought it was a choosing up time right there, all right? And this is why I think it is clear as day that you should never beef with people on YouTube. I am almost for certain. And Abba right now, all of the people that dislike him, like he had so many enemies, and it's almost like the chicken's coming home to roost. Everybody is out there. I'm looking at this video. This brother by the name of Foreign Fridays, for example, right? Here's a guy, I don't know, his name is Foreign Fridays, and he's saying Abba ain't living what he preached. I don't know if he knows this, but I see a whole bunch of guys, the Stevie guy, everybody's coming after the guy. It looks completely terrible.
So yes. Now, he wasn't the only one, as far as I know. That was the one guy that she was talking to that she gave the choosing signal to. That's the type of guy that I would go for. And this is the thing here, which as men, I think a lot of us understand. If we go for certain types of women, we're going to have to deal with certain types of stuff. It's rare that you can get everything in one package with one woman. But a lot of times I think women think they can get that whole package with one man. I use this in case in point. I understand if I'm dating a very attractive woman. Number one, she's going to get a lot of attention, even with her not even trying to get the attention. This is a lot of times why men will get with a woman and then tell her to start dressing super conservative, almost dressing like she's a Muslim or something. Now, I think that's wrong. If you meet a woman and she was dressing a certain kind of way, this is the main reason why I have an issue with a woman cutting her hair. If I meet her and she has long hair, okay, and it seems like she likes it, and obviously I like it, and then once she gets the relationship secure, marriage or a kid, then she's going to hack her hair off. I'm like, I mean, it seems like a small thing, but it's almost like, should I leave the relationship after that because you waited until you secured the relationship and then cut the hair? And bear in mind, I've dated women that have short hair, but the thing is, if they are a certain kind of way when I first meet them and I accept them, then I'm kind of like, well, who am I to come into your life and all of a sudden change who you are? But if you get me a certain kind of way, I'd rather you stay that particular way. Anyway, getting back what O'Shea Duke Jackson was covering.
And the one thing that I will say is, like, as men, if we're going to come after people for doing something, you got to be living about what you're talking about. It's almost so important. You have to be what you're talking about. Okay? If not, and people find out about it, no matter if, and again, people make mistakes, but if they find out about it, you automatically lose credibility. The fact that Abba has stood up for women's rights, women should not be talked to in certain ways, women this, women that. This is what Abba has always leveraged on his platform. And now we're seeing something completely different that is contrary to how he's presented himself. We're seeing that his ex-girlfriends are willing to come out and go to platforms. There's another white lady from Switzerland talking about he got her pregnant. He's lying about the fact that he didn't have a sperm count or the sperm count was low. You know, all of these things gotta be in check. And I think that what will happen now, Abba will never be able to go back and go unchecked again. And I think that clearly this is what was happening with him. I feel like with Abba, because he had never been exposed before, and even like, you know, I don't understand what this whole thing about like recording your calls with people, but they all do this. Like, it's like they don't trust each other. I think it's like very immature. Like you're having an issue with some person, so you call them, and then everybody is recording calls so that you can use these calls on social media.
Remember that when you're with a woman, you get feelings for her and you two split. Don't be surprised that she don't try to either go to one of your friends or one of your enemies. This is why I sometimes have issues with dudes as well. Because as I say, it wasn't all my friends, but the friends that I met post high school, I can think back, and when it came down to a woman and sometimes even money, they were snakes that I could not trust them. And I don't want to hear that you're sorry later because you had a slew of other women to go after, but yet you tried to go after that one. Or either you did get that one to the woman too. You should not do that. Similar if a guy was with a girl. And I'm pretty sure dudes have done this, but a lot of men do not do this. He's with one girl, then they break up or they start having problems. He smashes her friend. And yes, I know this happens. I've never done it, but I'm pretty sure a lot of men do not do this particular thing. Okay, if they're going to cheat and go with somebody, they're probably going to go with somebody, and okay, we'll leave the cheating out of it. If they're going to go with someone else, they're going to go with somebody else totally out of your zone of people that you know. But in a woman's case, especially if she's mad at you, especially if she's trying to get you back and stick it to you, she's going to go to one of your friends or one of your enemies. I don't know which one is worse, but I guess I would rather, if I had to choose, her to pick an enemy. But either way, this is fine. Women should just start over. But because they do somewhat of a networking thing when there are looking for replacements with the man that they are with, this is a lot of times, I guess, why when a woman leaves a relationship, automatically she's in another one because she had a guy friend that was her backup plan, or somebody that you know you was familiar with that you thought that was nothing there. All of a sudden, they are together. Isn't that hilarious? So, we're just wrapping that up. Be conscious that women can do this particular thing here. They can go for the guy that they say that they don't like, that is nothing there once you are not together. And it's even worse if you do have enemies or large network of, well, not even a large network, a network of guys that you have that you work with or something. She goes for one of those guys and not somebody totally different. If you know a woman has did that in their past, see, that's a thing there. When guys be like, oh, what's your body count and all that other stuff, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But when you see that your woman has did treacherous things like this, well, the woman that you are trying to talk to, do not take her seriously and do not give your heart and soul to that woman. Because in the end, she will snatch it and won't give it back. So that's all I have to add to this. Give me a like and subscribe and have a good night.
I like him a lot. But once you put yourself out there in a certain way, and you're not who you say you are. It's damaging. You can't get that back because what you lose is trust with your audience because you said one thing and did something else. For example, it's like Dr. Umar. If Dr. Umar do all of the stuff that he's doing, which he's lost all the trust, right? But let's say, sleeping with black women, not getting married to them and just clapping cheeks. It would be bad, but it would be still okay than him doing that with, let's say, a white woman, right? If he does that with a white woman, that's going to be completely terrible because you said don't sleep white, but then now we find out that you sleep on white. So now, because now you're not, like I said, living what you're talking about. Okay. Now you're not living what you're talking about. Now you're fake.
It's tough, not easy, complicated, so complicated, yeah. That's my life, so heavy, so messy, everything breaking, drink it down to the very last drop, half full glass, half empty glass, why complain, your forehead still smooth on top, it's tough, not easy, complicated, so complicated. Yeah, don't you worry, my friend, things turn around again. That's how life rolls, no need to lose control.